What is the reason behind the Greys interbreeding program with humans? Answer, as provided by Sinhar Anba Anadi. Very few people on any planet really understand the Greys. I have made it my business to learn all I could about them, and I will be able to help you. In my trip to their lab, I felt nothing could be worse than these beings, I said. They seem to me to be a constant menace to everyone. They are cruel, said Sinhar Inanashamra, but I am thinking about something else. Unless you know their problem, all you see is a technological, highly qualified race without heart or feelings, vicious, violent, and engaged in senseless, merciless experiments. But there is more to it than that. They are a dying civilization, desperately trying to save themselves. Dying civilization? How come? I asked, surprised. With all their activity, they seem very much alive to me and extremely dangerous. Have you ever heard of progeria? On Earth they also call it Hutchinson-Gilford syndrome, after the two scientists who discovered it in 1886. Yes, I have heard a little of it. Progeria victims are children who age, really become old people before they even reach puberty. Apparent nightmare, but very rare, I should say. On Earth it is indeed very rare. On average, only one child out of 4 to 8 million births is born with progeria. It is a rare and extremely frightening genetic disease resulting from spontaneous mutation in the sperm or egg of the parents. Yes, this is what I have always heard, I said. The horror of this disease is that it has no cure. The child is born, starts showing early symptoms, and begins to age right away. The children remain tiny, rarely over 4 feet. Both boys and girls become bald, and all develop a large cranium, a pointy nose, and a receding chin, resulting in an amazing resemblance to each other, almost as if they were clones. And then they die of old age, mostly in their teens, but often earlier, and there is nothing anyone can do for them. They develop old age diseases, such as hardening of the arteries, and often die of strokes or coronary disease, while their poor parents have to watch helplessly. The name progeria is very appropriate. It means before old age, and expresses it very well. But what is the connection of the progeria children to the Greys? First asked, a frightening suspicion beginning to form in my mind. The civilization of the Greys is millions of years old, and for eons they have been degenerating. A huge percentage of their population has progeria in varying degrees, and because of that they are threatened with extinction. No one knows how many Greys are affected and how many are progeria-free. We only meet those who are, at least for the present, able to carry on their duties with the help of their advanced medical technology. For all we know, there are millions of sick individuals hidden from view on their home planet. This is incredible, I said, shuddering. You must also remember that the Greys do not reproduce sexually. They used to, but not anymore. Also, they don't reproduce like the Anunnaki either. For thousands of years, they have been relying on cloning, and that has damaged their DNA even further, creating more and more cases of progeria. They are dying out, an entire civilization destroyed by progeria. It is almost impossible to believe, I said. If you study the two groups, you will see strong similarities between the Greys and progeria children. I won't go into all of them, as the list could go on for days, but let's consider the most prominent ones. For one thing, progeria does not produce any form of dementia. Both groups maintain their excellent mental faculties, usually with high IQ, until they die. That is a very important clue, but here are the others for your consideration. Neither group ever grows much beyond 4 feet. Both have fragile, weak bodies with thin arms and legs. All their bones are thin, as a general rule. Both groups are bald. Greys have no sexual reproduction. Most have no genitalia at all. Progeria children never reach puberty. Both have large heads by comparison to their bodies. Both have receding chins and pointy noses. Within their groups, they closely resemble each other. The Greys are cloned. The progeria children look as if they could have been cloned. So will the experiments they do help them survive? That is what they hope for. They take the eggs and the sperm from humans and combine them with Gray's DNA. Thus they create the hybrid children. Those poor children. I pity them so. They are not exactly what you think, Victoria. I pity them too, but you must realize that they are closer to the Greys in their character and behavior than they are to humans. What are they like? The first generation hybrids are smaller than human children. They tend to follow the growth pattern of the Grey parent, and by now you know this is a very fragile one. They are even smaller than progeria babies. The retardation of growth begins before birth. When you say first generation, does it mean that they go on mixing the genetic material? Yes, that is exactly what they do. The hybrids may or may not have progeria, but naturally the more human DNA that is mixed into the species, the more chances there are of eliminating the bad genes. So they breed the hybrids with more human deoxyribonucleic acid, always hoping to eradicate the disease, never quite succeeding. That is why they have to get fresh human specimens all the time. Do you think they have a chance of survival? No, personally, I don't think they have a chance. I think they are doomed. But many Anunnaki disagree with me. At any rate, there is nothing we can do either way. Do you think the authorities on Earth know about all that? Like the governments of various countries? Why isn't something being done about it? Sinhari Nanashamra looked at me silently, her big black Anunnaki eyes were suddenly full of such sorrow, such deep sadness, that I did not know how to react. Finally she said, "Yes, they do know. I have to tell you the truth, Victoria, even though it breaks my heart to do so. Almost all Earth governments have made a deal with the Greys. They supply them with humans." I jumped on my feet, completely horrified. They do that? They sell humans to the Greys for torture and killing? What do they gain? Can't you guess? Said Sinhar in Anashamra quietly. The Greys give them the technology they crave. They have learned so much from the Greys, and they mostly use it for military purposes. Humans are not kind to each other. Look at all the wars, torture, genocide, holocaust, all part of human history and still taking place. Unfortunately, this is true, I said. Anyway, there are various places on Earth where these activities can be studied, such as military bases, mostly located underground in many countries. Someday you will spend some time there, I am sure. Well, I said, trying to recover from the shock, I can't answer for the Earth's governments, but I can try to help. Indeed, you can. We are trying in many ways to alleviate the situation, even though, as I've explained before, we cannot police the whole universe or even the entire Earth. Do you think I should go and take a look at the hybrids as part of my education? Yes, I think the best thing to do would be to take you on a field trip. You must meet these hybrids face to face before you make your decision about the mission. But there is something else I wanted to talk to you about. This mission will have to be on Earth, you know. There are no hybrid bases anywhere else. Certainly not on Ashtari. You will be alone for long periods. We don't go back and forth to Earth very often, which means that you will have to spend years on Earth, except from short vacations. Marduk told me he had committed himself to work with those ape-like creatures he shape-shifted into and scared me so much after our wedding. That means I am sure that he will be away for extended periods of time as well, doesn't it? Yes, that is how we all live. My husband is on missions all the time. Most of us are. I used to go to distant places also, even though currently my mission is teaching full-time at the academy. But are Marduk and I going to be completely isolated from each other for all these years? No, of course not. Now that you have your conduit open, you can talk to each other every single day you spend apart, and every few years you can meet for a vacation. That does not sound too bad, I said. I will miss Marduk and all of you very much, but what are a few years you have given me the hope of living a very long and useful life, and Marduk has begun to teach me about the next phase of eternity, which is not yet entirely clear to me, but very comforting nonetheless. I am trying very hard to absorb it all. In that light, I would be willing to make the effort without any regrets. There is only one thing. I am not sure if you will think it is a good idea. I can sense what it is, Victoria. You want a child. Was I that transparent? It was to be expected. Anyone who has had to give a baby up for adoption, the way you so heroically did, would want another baby. That is only natural. But why shouldn't you? Why did you think it an idea that would not appeal to me? Because I would have to leave the child on Nibiru when I finally go on the mission. Another abandonment. First of all, you did not abandon your son. You insisted on knowing all. The conditions, you were assured of the loving family and wonderful future he was going to have. And as for the next child, surely you see that our system here is extremely family-oriented. When you go on your mission, let's say when the child is somewhere between 5 and 10, you will have an entire family ready to take over. Think about it. The baby's father, aunt, uncle, nieces, and not to mention her loving great-great-great-grandmother 10 times removed, namely me, will all be there loving this child. And you can talk to the baby every single day through the Mariah, see each other during vacations, and come back long before the child graduates from the academy. I don't think your mission will take 71 years, and frankly I see no abandonment issues here at all. What will Marduk think? He would probably love the idea. He likes children. Not all Anunnaki choose to have children, you know. Some never do. Some only have 1 or 2 and then spend thousands of years without further reproduction. It's entirely a matter of free will. Those who want children are, of course, encouraged to have them whenever they please, since they make excellent parents. Those who do not wish to raise children are never pressured into having them. And remember, Victoria, you can have more children after you come back from your mission if you choose to do so. It is always your choice, and time does not play any part in it. I was quiet for a few minutes. Being raised on Earth had eroded so much of the self-confidence and poise all Anunnaki possess. Well, I will have to work on becoming more like them, that is all. This time I will have the baby Anunnaki style, I said, feeling better every minute in the tube, so I can freely study and travel during the time before it is ready for its birth. Incidentally, you can decide in advance if you want a boy or a girl, said Sinhar in a Nashamra matter-of-factly. I'll consult Marduk about that, I said. He may have a preference. I don't care if it is a boy or a girl. I just want a healthy baby. Well, that is a given. You will have a perfect baby every time. And tomorrow come back and I'll take you on the field trip. I think meeting the hybrids will be a very interesting experience. I went home, and as I was waiting for Marduk to come back from the Akashic library, I strolled in the garden, breathing in the evening air and the scent of the opening night blooming flowers. I saw Marduk approaching and waved at him. You got your conduit open, he said right away. I can sense it. Indeed, I said. Shall we try to communicate telepathically? Let's see if I'm good at it. Do you know how to start it? Asked Marduk. I do. I did something in my mind which regrettably I cannot explain to anyone who has not activated their conduit. And the conduit opened, first a little hesitantly, then fully. It was a surprisingly easy, extremely pleasant, and effortless way to conduct a conversation. I related to Marduk everything that happened in detail, and a conversation that would have taken about an hour was accomplished in a few minutes. As for the great decision, namely the child, not the mission, Marduk was charmed by the idea. A daughter, he communicated, meditatively, if you don't mind. I had 2 sons, but I have never had a daughter. It would be a nice experience. Fine with me, I communicated back. And when I come back, we might consider having more. I love children, certainly, if you wish, Marduk communicated. I find raising children extremely nice. And so the decision was made, and I felt very, very happy. This is a good time to explain something regarding Anunnaki. Fatherhood. Wonder how the Anunnaki male feels about children, since he does not contribute sperm, and the fertilization of the eggs occurs by the activation of the specialized light. Does the Anunnaki male see himself as the father to his wife's natural children? The answer is a resounding yes. The Anunnaki do not put much weight on trifling physical matters, such as the use of sperm. The Anunnaki couple is an inseparable unit, and whichever way a child comes into their lives, the child is secure of having a loving father. I wish the same could be said of all human fathers, whether they do or do not contribute sperm. Are the Anunnaki going to take over Earth? Is one of these Anunnaki gods going to take over the Earth after the pole shift? Answer, no, for two reasons. One, the pole is not going to shift, so don't worry. This is based upon mainstream science. However, it could shift as it did before, millions of years ago. But scientists are not concerned. They are absolutely sure that no shift will occur anytime soon. Two, if the Anunnaki intend to take over Earth, they will not wait until the pole shift. They can do it anytime at will, but they are not interested at all. You have to remember that the Anunnaki are not territorial. Besides, planet Earth is meaningless to them. We, as human beings, are not interesting enough to the Anunnaki. Our natural resources are found on numerous planets, readily accessible to the Anunnaki. There are 7 galaxies in the cosmos filled with natural resources available to the Anunnaki, and these resources are not contaminated. Very, very, very few alien civilizations are aware of our existence, and they have no interest whatsoever paying a visit to us. However, and according to Stephen William Hawking, it is not a good idea to try to reach other civilizations in the universe. He warned us. Now, this does not mean that other alien races are not visiting our planet. Some have visited Earth several times as part of their galactic excursions. They came and they left. Nevertheless, the extraterrestrial aliens are still here. Why? It is very simple. They lived here millions of years before we were created. This is why we call them the extraterrestrials. They are not humans, and they live in isolated areas and aquatic habitats. These races are peaceful to a certain degree, as long as the human race will not jeopardize the safety of Earth. So in conclusion, the Anunnaki are not going to take over the Earth. But please do remember that we are expecting a global communication, contact, rapport with them in human race. The Anunnaki creation of a new human race. Is it for real? Are they going to change the way we look? Are they going to get rid of us and replace us with a new human race? What kind? Answer. What kind of a new human race are we talking about? A new genetic race? A biogenetic race? A new race with new physical characteristics and different physiognomy? None of the above. The physical form of humans will not change unless the Anunnaki will take us back to the primordial Chimiti Akkadian word for the genetic lab tubes used by the Anunnaki to create an early form of human beings. And this is very unlikely, even impossible. The changes will occur on different levels and almost instantly. Anunnaki prevention of use of nuclear weapons. Will the Anunnaki intervene to prevent possible aggressive use of atomic thermonuclear weapons against other nations prior to and or during their return? I find it very childish and ridiculous when American ufologists wrote on subjects pertaining to extraterrestrials and nuclear issues, since they are absolute outsiders. Nowhere in their books have they ever written on the Anunnaki and their bobs. Why are some of the bobs so extremely important? They lead to the parallel dimensions of the Anunnaki and the beginning of time, where the God particle Higgs boson can be found, which is the reason for the building of CERN's Large Hadron Collider LHC. Through the Miraya, a cosmic screen, monitor with a vast depot of data that informs the Anunnaki of past, present, and future events occurring in nonlinear form and in different galaxies, by which the Anunnaki can monitor the activities of humans on Earth, the Greys, Reptilians, Nordics, Lyrans, Dracos, Pleiadians, etc., and envoys from various other galactic civilizations, wrongly identified and referred to as the Galactic Federation Council. There is no way for a medium channeler, psychic to the stars, sitting in her apartment in Walla Walla or Biloxi, Mississippi, or in the swamps of Louisiana, listening to Willie Nelson's On the Road Again to access this Moriah and reveal the secrets of the universe. The Anunnaki will definitely intervene if a nuclear explosion was seen on the Moriah screen to happen near a bulb connected to their galaxy, close to the membrane of the universe, that could cause chaos and disequilibrium in the 11th dimension of the universe. This is very possible, since the speech given by Adolf Hitler at the 1936 Berlin, both can be heard in the time-space depository, a bank of information that Nikola Tesla accidentally tapped into. Nikola Tesla. American history has been unfair to Tesla and given his credits to the greedy and egotistical Edison. Everyone on the planet using AC electricity today should give thanks and praise to Nikola Tesla and not Thomas Edison. Only humans on Earth refer to space-time. All other extraterrestrial sentient beings use the term time-space to define the limits of the known universe. Who will survive the return of the Anunnaki? Question: what percentage of the world's population will survive the return of the Anunnaki to become part of the new human race? Answer: calculate the dimensions of the ziggurat of Enki in Ur in Iraq to find the number of Earth's population that would survive, which had been predicted millennia ago. How many other Anunnaki will be part of the return? And how many Anunnaki guides will there be for humans who will be saved and returned to Earth after the cleansing? Answer: that is a very normal way for a purely human mind to ask such a question. The truth is, the galactic mind of the extraterrestrials functions differently. Consequently, the alien mode of operation becomes totally incomprehensible to our mind, and instead of focusing on how many military personnel they might send, we should focus on how many ISMs they will operate at close proximity to Earth. This stands for Intelligent Satellite Module. Each module is approximately 8 feet to 10 feet in diameter, made of fibrometal, an alloy of elements not found on Earth, which is cone-shaped on the top half and oval-shaped on the bottom half. Worth mentioning here, the gray aliens have craft similar to the ISM, being smaller in diameter at 6 feet to 8 feet wide. These were witnessed by farmers in the Midwest several times and reported on cable TV. The purpose of the Gray's ISMS was to scan particular areas in the United States for several military strategic reasons, such as creating an atmospheric shield network which could alter the fabric of weather and be used to control climatic atmospheric conditions over a chosen area country. This military ecological weapon system produces tsunamis, earthquakes, mysterious underground detonations, complete destruction of all types of agriculture, forests and natural resources, crops, trees, orchards, and every kind of plant. Have we seen these kinds of catastrophic events recently in different parts of the world? Whilst the Gray ISMS require a complicated operational structure, encompassing large numbers of military personnel, one Anunnaki can handle up to 1,000 of their ISM machines. They will be using the Shabka, a cosmic net made up of anti-radar emissions and rays that not even NOR can detect. The Gray Earth Joint Program ISMs are detectable and clearly visible to the naked eye, whilst the Anunnaki ISMs are totally invisible and completely undetectable as they jump from one time-space pocket to another. Worth mention here, the difference between time-space travel and space-time travel is this: in the mode of time-space, the human mind cannot yet understand it, nor can the eyes see it, as we do not yet fully comprehend the concept of time. In space mode time, however, human eyes can glimpse the craft for a split second before it vanishes, jumps to another pocket. Only in this instance does the space-time appear linearly to humans. One Anunnaki ISM module is capable of covering up to 9,000 square miles. These mini spaceship machines will be interconnected through a massive net of rays that will seal off the Earth's atmosphere when the Anunnaki return. The number of Anunnaki who will be operating this return mission is as very few Anunnaki personnel will be needed to operate this enterprise. When this massive net of rays is interwoven, it forms a dark gray gluey substance that appears to us as a blend of burning metal, bark, and rubber with the most awful foul odor imaginable. The ghastly and noxious odor itself is enough to kill people. Light from the sun will be completely blocked out as this gluey substance, known to the Anunnaki as Zafta, forms a solid eggshell-like casing around the entire planet from which there will be no escape. This will truly be the end of the world and life on Earth as we know it. Efficient energy systems of the Anunnaki. Question: what kind of clean and efficient energy systems and modes of transportation will the Anunnaki introduce? Answer: after the cleansing is done, no oil, coal, natural gas, or any other carbon-based fuels will be used to power any car, machinery, or mechanical equipment apparatus. Energy to power all of the above will be provided via satellites which harness cosmic energy. By then, even solar energy will be regarded as an archaic and rudimentary form of harnessing energy. This will be made possible by the process of opening the Anunnaki cosmic ba'abs, which are also the stargates to multiple dimensions. 11 of these ba'abs exist within the multidimensional cosmic landscape adjacent to Earth, signs before the return of the Anunnaki. Question: what are the signs that people will see in the skies the day before the Anunnaki return, and where will they be seen? Before the return of the Anunnaki, the governments of many countries will start to circulate publications and manuals describing signs that will indicate the appearance of extraterrestrial craft visible to the public at large. I am absolutely convinced that many bishops and archbishops in the United States and England have already been briefed on the subject and were secretly asked to cooperate on the redaction of material that would suit religious dogma. With intelligent design, as well as the frightening arrival of extraterrestrials to our planet. Ironically, 4 major Anunnaki stargates will be activated and open, which religious leaders will also interpret as the arrival of the 4 horsemen as stated in the book of Revelation, and will be urging believers to run to their churches and pray. Meanwhile, American citizens will have the most unusual evacuation display of UFOs, OSOs of all shapes and sizes, oval, circular, crescent-shaped, triangular, cylindrical, and every other shape witnessed, reported, and ridiculed by the media, military disinformers, and debunkers alike. These are the vehicles of the gray aliens jointly operated with the military. Anunnaki's tool of annihilation. Question: what created the tool of annihilation that the Anunnaki will use when they return? Answer: the tool of annihilation was created by the Majlas, the Anunnaki High Council, as stated by Sinhar Ambar Anati, specifically for the purpose of cleansing the earth from all its contamination upon their return. This tool of annihilation will be utilized in the event of hostile situations where uninformed rednecks back in the saddle again and other suburbanites will pull out their hunting rifles and shotguns to shoot at spaceships belonging to the most advanced race in the known universe. Those are the ones who are going to get it first.